Hello everyone, David here. I spent the last 3 days out in the Hansel Valley area, out in the West Desert in Box Elder County, getting video, showing people what it's all about and what they're going to miss when this data center goes in. I sat down yesterday and today and met with the ranchers, the farmers, and the people who actually live out there about what they have to say about it. And folks, you're going to be surprised. None of them have even been talked to. I was told I was the first one to come out there and ask them what their opinions are. Does that surprise me? No. All we hear are lies anyways. Sit back, listen to their words, listen to what they have to say. I'm presenting you with their information. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to change your way and your decisions on anything. I'm here to give them their voice that they heard. Sit back, listen to them, and you'll find out there's a lot we don't know. For months now, the public has heard from politicians, corporations, consultants, foreign businessmen, and investors about what is supposedly best for Hansel Valley, Utah. But there is one group of people I kept asking about. The people who actually live there. The ranchers, the farmers, the families who have spent generations working this land. So I went to Hansel Valley and I spoke directly with the people most affected. What I found surprised me. Many of the people I spoke with are not activists, they're not politicians, and they're not professional speakers. They're people who work long hours, care for livestock, manage water, and try to preserve a way of life that has existed for generations. I interviewed 6 residents. 3 refused to allow any audio or video to be released because they feared consequences for speaking publicly. 3 agreed to allow portions of their audio to be used as long as their identities and their faces remain protected. That fact alone says something important.
Well, here it is out here in Hansel Valley, folks. This is what we're looking at here. I'm with one of the local ranchers right now. One of those local ranchers that Mr. Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful himself, says is all for this development out here. You have any words you want to say about what this is and the other ranchers around your area really saying about this and what 40,000 acres and the water is going to do?
There's not a single person out here that I have met, talked to, seen, or even know of that is for it. Every single one of us out here is against it. The water, we can't afford to give them any water whatsoever, especially this year. And the heat and the traffic and everything else that's going to be out here is going to destroy it.
For many residents, the issue isn't simply whether development should occur. It's whether local communities and residents should have a meaningful voice before major decisions are made. I've got 3 different ranch families here that I spoke to, and we got a couple of them right here that are willing to put out their input. So what is your feeling on what's happening here?
Well, one, on the thing of being said that I'm up for it, I've actually never been asked about it. So saying that I'm for it, you're the first person that's actually asked my opinion. So it's crazy to be said that I was for it when I've never been asked.
In the American West, water is life. It determines where people can live, where crops can grow, and whether ranches survive from one generation to the next. Here in Hansel Valley, water isn't simply a convenience. It's the foundation upon which everything else depends. For generations, families have lived and worked this land, adapting to the harsh realities of desert life. They understand something many people outside the valley do not. When water is scarce, every drop matters.
And I fish at Locomotive Springs.
Locomotive Springs will be gone if this
doesn't
happens.
exist anymore. It won't.
All that wetland, all that stuff will be gone.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
I'm actually with another local family here that live on a ranch here, and I'm letting them put their 2 cents in about what the water is going to do, the use of the water. There are 11 acre feet of water they say they're going to use, but when the Utah Energy Commission basically says they'll need 51,000 acre feet of water, equivalent to 2,675 swimming pools at 17,000 gallons being filled and dumped every single day. Folks, that's a lot of water. So, ma'am, what is your thoughts on it?
Well, we're really concerned because we just have our well water. That's all we have. So if it taps into underneath our water and we lose that water, we barely have water pressure as it is. We have limited water, and we live in a desert.
Right.
So if we lose that water, we don't have water. That means that we won't have drinking water, we won't have anything, and we don't have like a secondary water source out here. We don't have city water. We would just have no water.
One concern surfaced repeatedly. Many residents told me they felt they were never meaningfully consulted. Several said they learned about this data center through Facebook, neighbors, or word of mouth. Others felt decisions were already moving forward before local residents had a realistic opportunity to participate. Whether those perceptions are accurate or not, they are concerns shared by people who live closest to the project area. After the opinions were expressed about the water and what the usage was and how it's going to affect them, I asked them how they exactly heard about what was happening and about the project coming and how long they knew about it. And this, folks, caught me by surprise, and it actually surprised me quite a bit. These folks had no clue.
One of the neighbors down here was one of the first ones to find out about it behind the scenes on Facebook from a rumor and let the rest of us know about it. Is one of our neighbors from right down
Facebook,
the street.
That's how all of us found out.
She found out about it. It was one of the first ones that fought it down, the first one that they delayed on that Monday to the next one because they hadn't made it public. And so they had to technically delay it from one Monday to another to make it quote unquote public. But it wasn't actually open to public discussion. It was only open to public, oh, we have to say this out loud in front of you. And then they closed their doors, went to another room just to say what they were going to do. But that really was just saying it in the public to follow the guidelines.
It's all screwy.
Yep.
That's for sure.
But we're all supposed to be supportive of it.
Not at all.
I am not.
There's not a single one of us out here that are.
Interesting.
It was pretty scary when it just all of a sudden happened. We weren't told about it. It wasn't brought up in anything. We weren't involved. It was just an all of a sudden
there was
thrown
no
at
warning.
us. And we found out about it on Facebook. Not by any ballot or any information or any voting thing, or we didn't, it didn't come to us in any legal way or public notice.
For many residents of Hansel Valley, concerns extend far beyond water alone. This valley is known for its wide open spaces, dark night skies, and the wildlife that has adapted to life in the West Desert. Several residents expressed concerns that large-scale industrial development could permanently alter the character of the area they call home. They spoke about increased lighting, constant activity, industrial noise, and vibrations that could be felt for miles across the valley. For generations, families have looked up at the night sky here and seen countless stars stretching from horizon to horizon. Many worry that extensive lighting associated with large industrial facilities could change that experience forever. Other questions how continuous noise, heavy equipment, and ground vibrations might affect wildlife movement and behavior. Migratory species often rely on established travel corridors that have existed for decades and sometimes centuries. Residents fear that major changes in the landscape could disrupt those patterns and push animals into new areas, potentially increasing conflicts between predators, livestock, wildlife, and people. While experts continue to study these issues, local residents say their concerns are not theoretical. These are the observations of the people who live here every day. People who know the sounds of this valley, people who know the wildlife, people who know the darkness of the sky, and many of them are asking the same question. What will Hansel Valley look like 10, 20, or 50 years from now, and if these changes move forward?
And there's other things to it other than just the water. I mean, we're all fighting about the water, but it's like there's going to be the vibrations that go, the animals. It's going to move the migration patterns of all the animals. Where
even
those
predatory
animals move. The heat, the light, the infrastructure of where all these, how are they going to move all this stuff out here? Where are all these people going to come from that are going to go out there? It's not going to bring jobs. He's going to move in a bunch of people that are just going to come in and the infrastructure to get all this stuff out here. And I'm really concerned about the vibrations and the animals.
It's just dirt out there.
It's literally going to destroy this out here.
Yeah, are they going to move all the predators?
They even said that we
here?
wouldn't be able to see the stars anymore because those lights are so bright.
And then the electricity, you just imagine the electricity that's going to use.
9 gigawatts. The whole Utah uses under 3.
Yeah.
But yet, Mr. Wonderful, you say that everybody supports it. And Governor Cox, you really surprised me, but not really.
If I wanted to live next to data centers and things that are going to cause me like harm and damage, and probably
I'd go live in the city.
Yeah. Don't live in the city. I drive to work 40 minutes to an hour to be away from it.
I drive an hour to work just to enjoy this.
Yep.
And they want to come in and destroy it so they can pad their wallets.
When we talk about the future of Hansel Valley, we're not just talking about land, water, or economics. We're talking about the next generation. The young men and women growing up on these ranches today are the ones expected to take these reins on tomorrow. They inherit the decisions being made today and live with the consequences long after we're gone. I had a chance to speak with one of those future ranchers. Let's hear his perspective on what lies ahead for Hansel Valley.
So I'd like to get one of the younger generations here. We had what you feel about it, and how you think this is going to affect, and what your as being the next generation of ranch around here. What are your thoughts?
You own our house after we died?
Tried to die recently. I think, one, that this is a greedy money grab. There's no long-term benefits to have this data center. There's no long-term jobs. The world's largest before this one only has 125 or so full-time employees. So like the previous person before me, it doesn't apply to any sort of economic help. Secondly, like it's been mentioned before, my opinion was never asked. I learned about this when everyone learned about this. It was sprung up on me out of nowhere, and I watched as people tried to protest the governor of the people box out of the official guys, whatever,
right,
as they just strong-arm past it. They're greedy, and they don't care about what it's going to do for us. It's going to affect the air. It's going to affect it's going to cause noise pollution, water pollution. Oh yeah, heat pollution too. There's not a single benefit for anybody but the people who own the data center.
Reading on it said 25 degrees different that night.
It was interesting. I was actually, when they passed this thing, I was over at the center when they brought this up over the fairgrounds, and they actually walked off the room. They didn't want to hear nobody talking about it. They actually walked out and they went to another room. And you talked with Kevin O'Leary and the Governor Cox, and it was unanimously decided. I'm sorry, unanimously, 3 people. That's a huge thing to do. But so basically, you're looking at, you may not have your ranch anymore.
Isn't that so exciting? My family came here, and this was supposed to be my parents' home until they, up and died, and now we're having this intrusion on the seclusion of where they wanted to move because of our animals, because we didn't want to deal with all the hustle and bustle of cities or towns, and now we get a worse thing than living in a city, which is worse for our health, because some of those low frequency vibrations can cause illness and severe physical problems to people that are around it for a long period of time.
So I talked to you a little bit before we started recording that stuff. Tell me what your thoughts are about this developer and this builder.
The Canadian who's not an American citizen? Yes, I love when billionaires decide the future of my life when they are old, withered, and should have no say in, especially what's happening in America when they're not even a citizen.
One of the most strange and unusual concerns raised during my interviews involved unidentified low-flying helicopters operating around livestock. They've got helicopters I've seen now, and I asked you, your family's here, have you seen more excess of helicopters?
Really low.
Yeah.
That's what's been interesting.
Several residents described the flights as being disruptive to livestock and ranch operations, seeing their cattle scared and running in all different directions. One rancher told me he later lost 6 steer and believes that there may have been a connection. I did not see these carcasses or these animals. I'm only going by what he told me. He said no necropsy was performed and no direct cause was ever officially established. But I'm bringing this to you because what struck me most was simply the story itself. It was the fact that people telling it were afraid to do so publicly. Some of these residents would not allow their names, images, or even their voices to be released because they feared potential consequences for speaking out. Whether those fears are justified or not, they are real to the people who shared them with me. My responsibility is not to tell you what to believe. My responsibility is to accurately document what these residents told me and to allow you to hear their concerns in their own words. The ranchers I spoke with told me that these were not helicopters that they had hired or contracted. They stated they did not know who was flying these helicopters. Okay, folks, we're going to finish this video here, and you get to see me for the rest of the thing. These particular folks that I interviewed on Monday don't want their faces shown, their voices to be heard, nor their land to be shown. So you get to deal with what I can put up with there and deal with me. These people were late showing up to the interview because they said they were dealing with some dead livestock that they had found in the south pasture. The same pasture that they had mended fence on Friday, and nothing was there. they found these 6 dead livestock within 100 yards of where they mended the fence. And they weren't there on Friday. Today, Monday morning, they find them. 3 days later, 2 days later, however you want to look at it. And they believe that the helicopters they've seen over the weekend on numerous occasions were harassing them and caused these animals to have heart attacks and spook them to death. Now, can they prove that? Sure, through a bovine autopsy. I don't know what it's called. They told me and I don't remember. They can do it that way, but that's expensive. They've already said they said they've already lost the cattle, which is enough. They don't want to double down with doing an autopsy to prove that they're just dead. But there was no blood. Helicopters flying around. They said it was a dark one and a light one, low to the ground, kicking up dust in the area of where the animals were. They didn't get tail numbers, and they didn't get anything like that. They just find it odd that they were that close to the ground, kicking up that much dust, because it is not uncommon to see helicopters flying around out there. They're always out there. They're flying around having a good old time. And heck, there's an airport out there that a man owns that they fly out, and I guess he makes sandwiches for them or cooks some burgers. I don't know. That's what I've heard. I've never been out there. I don't own a helicopter. I'm not that privileged to have one. But the lady I spoke to, she talked about low-flying helicopters. These guys talked about low-flying helicopters, a light one and a dark one, which triggered a memory. My wife and I were out there on Saturday, out in Kelton. Out in Kelton, there was $1 million motorhomes, big old fifth wheels. Again, not uncommon. Razors, motorcycles, all kinds of toys out there. And there were helicopters, a light one and a dark one. I didn't think nothing of it. Neither did my wife, because we see them all the time. Now, the farmer, the rancher, says they see a light one and a dark one. Now, I want to also add to this, most helicopters are either light or they're dark. They hardly see any neon green or neon orange or you see them light colors or dark colors. That's just what you see. Folks, I'm trying to figure out what's so important about this discovery. It's the fact that these people are afraid to say anything publicly. What has them so spooked that they won't say a word that could possibly save their ranches, their homes, or their way of lives? The rancher told me he was afraid because he didn't want the consequences coming his way that we're calling out helicopters. And that, was this the helicopters I seen? I don't know. And I don't think so. But again, who knows? Is this just a freak accident? I don't know. Again, I'm just telling you what they said. There's a lot of coincidences. Do they all line up? I don't know. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm not here to tell you what to think. I'm just putting their words out. I'm putting these ranchers' voices out because they haven't been heard. They haven't been talked to. I was told I was the only one that talked to them or asked them these questions. I was the only one that knocked on their doors. Please help us get their word out. This is for them. This is their land. This is where they live. This is where they've been doing things for generations. Let's keep this word out there. Let's get it out. Let's pass it on. I know this has been a long video, but they deserve to have their voices heard. And I'll be the one to help get it out there. Thank you for listening, folks. Thank you for sticking around. I love each and every one of you guys. God bless every single one of you. And God bless the United States of America. Until the next video, folks, we must do better and stay safe.